Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at a game called Aztarac, and this is a color vector game created by Centuri in 1983, and Centuri normally did not create their own games. They were usually licensed parties of games that were created by other companies, but this was suggested by YouTube user Quuhod, and this game is probably most notable for its odd bowl-shaped or bubble-shaped design emerging from the glass from the main screen, and you can kind of see it there, and that covers the center of the playfield. And your goal is you're a spaceship, and you use a flight joystick to move your ship around and fire with a trigger and rotate the turret of your cannon with a dial, and you must protect bases, 4 of them, and the Zodiac signs come into play, or at least the names of them. They're the names of the stages, and maybe 2 of those do not come into play in the game. I've noticed the absence of Gemini and Leo when I was playing. For some reason I was not able to see those stages. But the game is incredibly hard, and from what I've read, if you spin the dial real quick here, you'll be able to see the programmer's name, Tim Stryker, appear. Tim Stryker unfortunately committed suicide in the mid-90s, but he was responsible for this game, and the basic idea of the game isn't bad, and the color vector graphics are pulled off very nicely, but the game gets too hard too quickly. The enemy ships that come to attack your bases that you're trying to protect, 4 of them, the group of enemies only have to touch the base. They can't shoot it, but if they touch it, that base is destroyed, and if all 4 bases are destroyed, your game will end. You can get shot by the enemies as many times as you want. You have infinite lives, but you will have to take a moment or 2 to regenerate in the middle of the bases, and that's where you start your game, or your each stage. And note that you don't move very fast here. That can be a good thing, but you can choose to move faster by collecting certain items outside of the playfield, and you'll get bonus multiplier for each star base that you saved, and you have to get a pretty decent score to get on the high score list. It's very, very, very hard to do. We'll get started in a moment. You can't play 2 players simultaneous play. You switch players. We'll look at that later. But we'll start with Capricorn. We don't start at the very beginning of the stage. I'll only play a little bit of this because I wanted to show you the items that you can pick up outside of the playfield. And when you go left and right, you scroll outside of the playfield, or up or down. But yeah, they disabled one of the bases by touching it. That is the radar button. You have a radar button, and you can kind of see a radar screen there. There, I picked up a power-up, and that lets me fly faster. 1 power-up will let you fly faster, and 1 will let you shoot faster. And we'll go ahead and start a different game now. I mean, I'll start a new game here. But yeah, sometimes it's a good idea to touch the enemies if they're not moving too fast, to keep them from touching one of your star bases. And yeah, you'll be destroyed, but so will the enemy. Note that when an enemy does touch a star base, that whole wave, that whole group of them is destroyed. The game is fairly easy early on, and I'll have saved all the star bases. and you automatically get those 2 power-ups that were outside of the playfield. You'll automatically get those if you save all the star bases, plus you'll warp 1 level. And there's a big old group this time of enemies. But yeah, if they shoot you, you have to regenerate within the middle of the star fields. And you use your radar to see where the enemies are closest. Sometimes it seems that the radar is off. And I've noticed that it looked like one formation was close, and so I looked out for that formation, and all of a sudden a formation from a different direction attacked my star bases. And note, the enemies are much faster on the draw. They're much faster approaching the star bases than before. A real pain in the ass. This game just gets too hard too quickly. They can only take out 1 star base at a time. 1 group. They can't take out 2. Now we go to Starbase Aries. But yeah, like I said, I think maybe Gemini and Leo aren't in this game. If they are, then I tried to get to them, and for some reason I wasn't able to. Damn it. But yeah, if you need to touch an enemy to keep them from getting to a base, then maybe that's a good idea. I've only got this 1 base left. Oh, I got too far away. Oh well. That's my game, because I lost all the star bases. Well, that's Aztarac. Not a very good game, I don't think. I'd never seen it in arcades. I did not make the high score list. I needed 30-something thousand. I'll show you what it looks like to get on the high score list later on. But, yeah, that was one of the very rare games that Centuri actually made. I can't think of any others that they actually made themselves. They usually got licensed games made by like Konami or Tekken. And we're going to look at some of the other stages, the other Zodiac signs. Here's me flying off looking for that power-up. You can upgrade your speed multiple times. And you might be able to upgrade the speed of your laser multiple times. It is rapid fire, so you can just hold down the trigger on the flight joystick on the arcade control panel, and you can make your shots move super fast, lightning fast. This is Cancer here. I might argue that this game is Cancer. It's really not very good. And again, that's a shame because they make good use of the color vector graphics. And again, that radar might not work 100% correctly. And sometimes when you get multiple speed power-ups, the ship doesn't quite move the way that you'd like it to. And there's another power-up I'm collecting there. Am I slower than I was? Or did I just get a laser power-up? I'm not sure. I don't care. This game sucks. I mean, some people like it, and it definitely, the bubble projected thing from the screen looks kind of neat. And again, there's very good use of color vector graphics at times. But yeah, the gameplay and the extreme difficulty is just not my cup of tea. The enemies just get too fast, too numerous, and shoot too often. But yeah, this was created by Tim Stryker. Only, I guess only about 500 cabinets of this game were produced. And it's not surprising that there were not that many produced, because it's just not that great a game. But yeah, when you reach Sagittarius, that is actually the last stage, and you automatically are earned a free credit. Whether or not you are able to beat it, your game will end and you will have an extra credit. But if you were able to save star bases on this one, or protect at least one, you will get an extra credit for each. But yeah, notice that when you are flying away from the main screen, enemies can still attack your starbase, and they can also attack your starbase when you're on the radar screen. So there's no respite. I put on cheats here just to get the a credit for each starbase saved. But now we put in our initials here, or I put in my initials. I do think that's cool that for the point rankings, for the top 3 scores, you get a gold, silver, or bronze medal. See? Well, that was Aztarac. Yeah, I'd never seen this before. I don't think it's a very good game. The basic premise of the game, we'll look in just a moment at what 2 players playing would be like, and like I said, it's alternating turns. The basic premise of the game isn't bad. It kind of feels more like it should have been created like a couple years prior, perhaps, than 1983. But yeah, once you play one player and either beat a level or die, then you go to the other player. But yeah, we'll look at I think a couple of the stages that I didn't reach. Again, you can play all of them except maybe Gemini and Leo. I did not see that while I was playing. And again, if you save all 4 bases, then you can get a level warp and automatically get power-ups. I just wanted to show you a little bit of the levels that I was not able to play through earlier. Well, that was Aztarac by Centuri in 1983, or more specifically, Tim Stryker. Well, this is Crazy Clown Radio saying thanks for watching Aztarac. Now we'll catch you later in the future with another video. Hope you had a fantastic weekend, and I hope your next week is even better. Take it easy, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.